want to talk about bouncing back
After you've fallen off.
after a heavy one.
People spend the majority of their time worrying about things that they really shouldn't be worrying about.
For those at home that don't know what it means, bulking off the demons simply means
Everybody's playing a short-term game because they want the results so quickly, because they want the validation that comes with the results.
sip on that tea. All right, we're back again. Let's leak the intel. Episode 8. How you been?
Coffee is important, mate. Let me just take this in. This is good coffee. This is a good coffee. I haven't had a coffee like this in a while.
Yeah?
It's a good coffee.
You like that one?
It's a good coffee, mate. So I'm just going to take this in.
It's funny because 2 weeks ago I was the coffee lover.
You still are a coffee lover.
I've been cold turkey 2 weeks.
You're just taking a break from it.
Yeah. It wasn't even an intentional break.
Just happened.
Yes. When I went to that Snowbox festival the other week, I just weren't really thinking about coffee.
Really? Did you not feel like a coffee would have just jumped
tell a lie,
the
actually.
engine?
My boy Harrow, he bought me one coffee. But I didn't even think about it. Like, he was just like, oh, do you want a coffee? You know when you're sitting down chilling? And I drank it and I just thought, I'm kind of productive without it anyway. It was sort of like petrol for me at one point. Like I told you, I'd have 8 to 10 coffees a day. Easy.
And I said that was unhealthy.
But it didn't have any negative effects on me. Not that I've noticed. Like, I've come off coffee and I'm still the same, highly energetic, highly active. So, but we'll see. Give it a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just take a little break and then there's nothing wrong with it. I think there's a lot of health benefits with coffee. I think it's just when it becomes a need. When there's a need, I can't function without that coffee in the morning. That is when you have a problem and maybe it's time to take a step back.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to reset your receptors, you know?
Yeah.
The caffeine receptors.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm on the teas, the milky teas. But yeah, anyway, episode 8. We want to talk about bouncing back
After you've fallen off.
after a heavy one.
After a heavy one. So I think just to illustrate, kind of paint the picture, life is turbulent. By nature, life is turbulent. And there's a nice saying that people spend the majority of their time worrying about things that they really shouldn't be worrying about. So people will spend time worrying about the girl that doesn't text them back, or the boy that doesn't text them back, when really they should be worrying about when they wake up the next morning, get in the car, start their engine, and their car doesn't start because they forgot to maintain
the bigger
it.
problems.
The real problems that actually stop you in your tracks, or the fact that, you know, tomorrow you might wake up and be ill. You might come down with something.
Yeah.
A few weeks back, I got the stomach bug from hell, bro. And when I say from hell, I genuinely thought that night I was going to die. It was that bad. I was throwing up demons. Like, I kid you not. The demons were inside of me and they were all coming up that night. And I was sitting there with this bowl in my hands, just like...
The demons were bulking off you, my boy.
Nah, bro, because I was sitting there and I was just rolling with the punches. But what I'm saying is it stopped me in my tracks. It wrote me off for a good couple of days. And what tends to happen is that people will get themselves in a nice routine. You know, they've got their days when they go to the gym. Their days when they go to martial arts. Their days when they sit down and they study hard. They've got a nice routine and it's flowing. And then all of a sudden, something will come up. Maybe grandma gets ill.
Yeah.
And you've got to go to hers to take care of her. Or you get ill. And all of a sudden, you don't have the energy to upkeep your routine. And what happens is that people will fall off from their routine. But then once they've recovered, they struggle to get back into the flow of things. I struggle with this. When something comes up and it means that I miss the gym for a week or two, I focus more on the fact that I've missed the gym rather than thinking, right, what do I need to do to get back into it?
Yeah.
But for you went away for a week, had a heavy session, wrote yourself off,
Yeah.
came back. By the following week, you was in the lab, active, sparring.
Yeah, well, I got back on Saturday night, pretty much Sunday morning, to be honest. And yeah, on Tuesday, I was back training again. But for me, I think it's looking at the bigger picture, right? Like, why waste all the progress you've put in over a month, 2 months, 3 months, just because you've had a few days of illness in your case, or even a week away having a messy one? Either way, believe it or not, you've probably not actually lost out physically or mentally too much. So I just don't let it beat me up as much. It's like I got back and I thought, I'm better off getting in the gym on Tuesday. I've had a week off, so I'm better off just getting in there. I'm going to be rusty, and I took a few bangs. But then come Thursday, I was back, probably the best session I've ever had. So it's just a mind over matter thing, right? Like, don't let it get the better of you. If you've had a bit of a demonic week, as I did, like intoxicating myself, drinking and stuff, eating bad food, pizza, burgers, I don't really do it much. My belly was in bits. I come back and I jump straight back on it. I flushed my system out with lemon water, detoxified myself. Next day, I've been eating loads of fruit, getting all the goodness into my belly, eating loads of yogurt, probiotics to get my belly bacteria back to normal function. And I was straight back to it. So I think to wrap that up nicely, you're better off. All right, you might lose out a couple of days being ill. You might lose out a couple of days of going out on the weekend and having a heavy one. But if you've put loads of progress in over a month to over a year, there's no point in wasting it over a couple of days of having a bad mind. Just get straight back to it, back to what you're doing. And within a couple of days of doing that, you'll be right back on track, believe it or not.
I think that's discipline, isn't it? They say discipline is doing the hard things when you don't want to do them, regardless of how you feel. Regardless of how you felt on that Tuesday when lab time came, you activated.
I dragged myself. I got up. I didn't want to, but I dragged myself. I thought I need to be beaten. I need to be punished. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a heavy week. I enjoyed myself, but don't be beating yourself up now. Get up, go do it. And I did, and I felt 10 times better for it. It's like when we was talking about confidence in episode 1, and I remember saying that if you go to the gym the day that you don't want to go to the gym, you're going to be hella proud and confident. It's the exact same thing with getting back into routine. You go back after a heavy session, that first day, when you wake up the next day, you're going to be bulking off the demons again.
And I also think sometimes I've been in the gym and I've got halfway through my workout and I'm thinking to myself, I actually don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can't be bothered to be here. I'm tired. I'm not lifting right. But what I've noticed is that if you just begin to shift your mindset from, oh, I don't want to be here, to I've put some graft in, even if you don't finish your workout in its full entirety, you've still shown up, you've put some work in, and tomorrow might be a better day. In that regard, we need to be gentle with ourselves, because at the end of the day, you've shown up. You've shown up, which is more than what most people do. Even if you've gone to the gym, walked through, worked out for 10 minutes and then thought, I can't be bothered. Tomorrow, you might go for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that is progress at the end of the day, because people think that is a big issue that I think a lot of us face is, I don't know about you, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I struggle to get things done if I don't have all of the data and all of the tools that I need to get it done. So for example, going to the gym, if I don't have my belt, which helps me squat properly and squat my usual weights, then I might think to myself, oh, maybe I should just wait till I get my belt.
Yeah, you let the force get the better
I'll skip today and then go tomorrow, because then at least I've got my belt and I can do it properly. Rather than just thinking to yourself, right, consistency above all else. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
Don't think too much about intensity. Think about consistency. This is what the champs do. You know Khabib?
Yep.
They train with consistency in mind. So rather than thinking, right, 2 days a week, I'm going into the lab and I'm going to train flat out, put in 110%, no, scratch that, 120% in. They think, right, I'm just going to show up. Today, I'm going to show up for an hour, roll around, do a bit of wrestling.
Yep.
Tomorrow, I'm going to go in another hour, but maybe I go an hour and 5. Next day, hour and 10. Next day, it might be an hour and 5 again. But the point is that those hours build up. So if you're going to the gym, if we look at it from a mathematical perspective, if you're going to the gym, let's say, and you're doing 2 hours twice a week, full intensity, right? After that, after each session, you've written yourself off. That's 4 hours a week. But if I go into the gym 5 days a week and just do 1 little hour, 5 hours versus your 4 hours, each week I'm 1 hour ahead of you. Yeah. That compounds over time.
Yeah,
and
100%.
From a work rate perspective, it might seem like you're working harder, but that is where consistency shines through over intensity.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you there. And I'd say it also depends of what you're doing within the session at hand as well. But I want to go back to the point that you said about like you when you're in the gym sometimes and you've like, I forgot my belt. I think that's a very, very modern human thing that we've developed to just make excuses wherever we can. I find myself doing it sometimes. I'm like, I can't do this today because of that. When really the simple solution is fuck the little things, just get the big things done. Like 10 years ago, were weightlifters really using belts? Like they've only come into play a lot more recently that I've seen. We can do it. We can support our own backs. Do you know what I mean? It's just these little things as modern day humans. We're like, we need weightlifting gloves. We need a weight belt. We need all this stuff. And realistically, all you need to do is get yourself the fuck up and get in the gym and lift some weights.
I need my headphones. I can't lift properly unless I've got music blaring in my ears.
There you go. It's a matter mind over matter situation, I think, when it comes to stuff like that. But also, while we're on the topic, I want to discuss not even like if you're someone that's in routine and you go on a heavy one and you come back and you're struggling, but even the people that are trapped in the cycle of having a bad routine. It only takes 21 days. 21 days. It might sound long, but it's not in hindsight to create new habits. So I'd like to say to everyone at home, if you are struggling with creating a new routine, go at it little by little. Like you say, little steps. Even if you're jumping on the treadmill at first for 10 minutes a day, the next day 12, the next day 14, it's all about compound interest. Compound interest is the biggest thing in the world, right? And it can happen in all areas of our life. So even if you're at home and you're struggling to get into a routine, take it step by step, and eventually you'll see yourself. The little things will count. You'll lose them little bits of weight because your body, even if you are stepping on a treadmill, your body ain't used to that calorie deficit. So you will notice over time that you're burning this fat, and that should give you the drive and the motivation to continue doing that, and then you'll get more into a routine as it passes. I think that's a biggie as well.
Absolutely. So it's about being gentle, and also one thing that you're forcing me to do is look at the long, but actually it's so beautiful when you do, is when you look at things from a long-term perspective. Hormozy's big on this. Yeah. He's like, I'm playing long-term games, and everybody's playing a short-term game because they want the results so quickly, because they want the validation that comes with the results. But when you start looking at, okay, I want you to think about two individuals, right? One individual goes hard in the gym, on the treadmill, an hour a day, a couple of times a week, right? He's smashing it. He goes hard for 4 months and then falls off. Okay. Versus somebody else who's really struggling to build a routine, but they say, right, okay, first day, 5 minutes, next day, 10 minutes. And they manage to keep that going up for 12 months, they manage to keep that routine going for 12 months versus somebody who only manages to keep their high intensity routine going for 4 months. If you do the maths on the time, the person who kept it going and was consistent for 12 months, even though every time they stepped in the lab, the duration was shorter, they've still put in more time. And so when you look at it over a long-term time period, you realize that, compound interest, it all adds up. And you don't necessarily need to think, right, if I can't get in the gym and do a good 1.5 hour session, you can go into the gym, do 30 minutes. You can do that.
It's like the good old story, the childhood story of the tortoise and the hare, right? The tortoise is slow. He's taking his little steps into the right direction. The hare thinks he's fast and quick on his feet. He's consistent for a while and then he chills. The tortoise ends up overtaken, and who makes it to the finish line? That's all it's about, bro. You need to get to your destination, and that's why I'm so big and I talk to you and we always discuss like long-term plays. So don't think so short-term, because you'll beat yourself up as well when in the short term the things don't happen that you want to happen. If you put everything on a 5-year time span, let's say we aim to get 1 million subscribers on the channel in 5 years, okay? If you put it like that and we hit it before, you're going to be even more happier. Where if you say, oh, we're going to hit 1 million subscribers in 6 months and we don't do it, you're going to demotivate yourself. So long time frames are a lot more beneficial psychologically as well. 100%.
Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up when you're not being consistent at times. Just make sure you are being consistent. That's all that matters. As long as you're getting to the finish line. If you have a goal set and it's to lose 10 kilos and you're getting there bit by bit, believe me, you might be a slow process, but at least you're beating the people that ain't being consistent. Consistency wins.
So let's talk about how to block out the noise. The noise of the people who seem like they're achieving the results super quickly.
It's impossible. No one receives, unless you're literally getting a gastric band. If you're like extremely overweight and you're getting a gastric band, that's a life hack, fair enough. But no one, I would say, is overnight having a six-pack. Like, it's all a myth. All the stuff online that's like, get rich in 10 days. You may be able to make a lot of money in 10 days from following certain methods. I'm a big believer in that, right? But for one, you might not be happy doing it. You might find it absolutely miserable. For two, you might not be able to keep it up. For three, it might even be a scam. And for four, you're probably being sold into a scam, right? It's the same with weight loss journeys. People are like, oh, do this and lose weight in 1 week. It's impossible. Maybe 4 weeks. Things take time. Psychologically, mentally, science, our actual bodies, things take time to happen. It don't happen overnight. But I feel like that's where a lot of the younger generation are getting it mixed up, because we live in such like a quick attention economy where like we see that person doing well. Oh, I've got to be this like this person next week. Focus on yourself. Get there one step at a time.
Don't let anyone rush you. Don't let anyone rush you. Allow yourself to be comfortable with the time that it takes to get certain people done. I want to give another example, right? Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and you're feeling really insecure because maybe you perceive them as more beautiful than you. Let's say they're in better shape than you. You're a bit out of shape. You're feeling overweight, and so you're lacking in confidence. What a lot of people will tend to do is they will be like, I need to drop this weight off in 4 months, because if I don't, this person is going to leave me.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to realize that actually, you know, I'm this fat slob.
Yeah.
And they're not going to see the value within me. And so they're going to just leave me. What I've realized is that ambition counts for a lot more than people realize. So much so, I feel like people value ambition more than results. Results are nice because you can enjoy them for a certain period of time, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're a big baller and you're splurging, and I come around you, and I, by proxy of being around you, you know, you treat me well, and you give me a slice of the results that you've achieved for yourself. That's nice. But eventually, I'm going to become accustomed to that. And eventually, inside, I'm going to start thinking to myself, well, right, yeah, I mean, I get to enjoy it all through Alf, but it's not really fulfilling me. I've not done anything to deserve this.
Yeah.
I might get to enjoy all the stuff, but your brain will adjust. You've got 5 sports cars on the drive, and I get to drive one every now and again.
Yeah.
My brain's going to adjust to, just another day taking one of our sports cars out.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody that's like, actually, I'm effectively, methodically working towards my own goals. I'm not in a rush. If you want to rush me, if you're like, oh, I'm going to leave you because you can't provide this, you can't provide. you don't need to worry because you're going to get there.
Yeah.
You're being intentional. You're putting in the work. And flames that burn the brightest tend to burn out a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I love about people who bunny hop from, say, person to person thinking, the grass is greener over there. I'm going to go try that grass.
Yeah.
And then they get there and then it's great. The grass seems greener for a while, but then they don't have the skills to water the grass.
Yeah.
They don't have the skills to
Basics.
actually take care of the garden. They just thought, the soil's better quality here. So because the soil's better quality, I don't need to do anything. I can move into this garden and enjoy the garden's beauty and not have to worry about the weeds coming through, not have to worry about the trees beginning to die, have to worry about the crops failing.
Yeah.
But everything is work. Life is work, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so everything requires maintenance. And so, you can use the fertilizer and, absolutely get your crops to come through nice and quickly, take all the cheat codes. But then the soil qualities underneath is trash.
Yeah, it's poor.
And eventually you're going to start reaping that crap that's really in the ground. So but when you do things the right way, and the right way is often the slower way.
Yeah.
The right way is
I
often
agree with you on that.
learning the skill rather than pretending to know how to have the skill and faking it. And like the right way is to just actually do the work.
Yeah. I think maintenance, what you just said there, that's a big word to describe what we're actually talking about today down to a T. Like, no matter if you've had a heavy one or you've gone off track for a few days, you've had a few distractions, as long as you're keeping the maintenance down to a T, you ain't lost nothing in hindsight. So I think that's very important to remember, no matter what you're doing. Unless it gets to a point where like you are literally months and months behind, then boy, you got to pick yourself back up and get back to the game plan. Don't lose sight of the vision. Don't lose sight of the goals that are probably not too far away. Put in a bit more extra legwork to catch up. It's just like at school, right? They teach you it from young. You fall behind, you have to catch up. It's the same process in life. These are simple life skills. And yet again, like we say all the time, as humans, sometimes we make things a lot more complex than they need to be. It is simple, right? You fall behind, pick yourself back up. Don't sit there like a bitch, bitching yourself, fighting. Bulk off the demons. Don't fight them, bulk off them. We don't want to fight your thoughts in your head. Just bulk off them. Use them in a positive manner. That's what I would say. 100%.
To add to that, your demons are really your friends. Because they genuinely...
Your besties.
Your demons have your best interest at heart. Your demons really want to be proven wrong.
Yeah. 100%, man.
They chat because they want you to be like, hang on a second, you're chatting absolute shit. And I'm going to prove you wrong. And then going out and doing the work and proving the demons wrong.
And demons do tend to creep. They creeped. When I got back on that Sunday, demons do tend to creep when your body is in dysfunction mode. Like, if your body goes into like a state, it's like animals, right? When they go into a state of like panic, they get ill naturally. And it's the same thing. So you've just got to utilize them demons instead of letting it get the better of you and get into your mind and into your heart and your soul. You got to bulk off the demons. And for those, because we've never actually described what we mean by bulking off the demons, for those at home that don't know what it means, bulking off the demons simply means the demonic thoughts that go through your head and utilizing them to do better. Don't let them get the better of you. If you've got a better definition to describe it, I would love to hear it.
That one needs to be put down in the Oxford Dictionary.
What's the dictionary that we have for modern day words? I forget it because I don't go on there no more. But you know, like when people come up with a word, it goes in there. It's not like an official dictionary. It's
Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary. Reach out and put bulking off the demons in the Urban Dictionary. And if you tell yourself that, what do? If we're having negative thoughts, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you are bulking off the demons.
Yeah.
And I bet you 100 times over, you're going to feel 10 times better.
Absolutely.
10 times better.
Providing that you bulk off them and that inspires you to go and do the work. Remember, the chatter, you don't have to label the chatter as negative or positive. Like, don't label it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't say, oh, this is bad. This is good. Just look at it as, right, my thoughts are saying that we deserve better than this.
Yeah. Well, your thoughts are being demonic. They're playing with your mind, right? The demons are there. So what you need to do, you need to take the fucking protein that you're being given and digest the shit out of it. Bulk off your thoughts. Don't let them get the better of you. And I think that's a great way to wrap this episode up, right? When you are off track, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, there's demons in me, but I'm going to use them to get bigger and better. Simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it stupid simple, my boy.
But on that note, we're going to do a short and sweet one. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little message. I hope it's given you some fire in your belly to take away and just bulk off the demons.
Yeah.
And just remember to be gentle with yourself and don't think you need to do everything perfectly. We're not robots. We're never going to execute things perfectly. There's room for error. There's room for mistakes. You might go and do a workout and it might not be your best workout, but at least you were consistent and you showed up.
Well, within errors, we see massive lessons, right? I'm a big believer in that. Like you say, if you go to the gym and you're realizing that you're not performing well, your mind's going to probably think, why ain't you performing well? And all of a sudden you seem to dive deeper into yourself and you can get to the bottom of the problem and then provide yourself with a solution. So I think that's all it is. Keep going. Keep thumping away. Keep hitting them goals.
Remember to like, subscribe, comment. The Leak the Intel family is going strong and it's only getting stronger. We're all bulking off the demons together and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.